This is Turo, the future-loving Pokemon professor exclusive to Violet version. Long before becoming a professor, Turo was a champion-ranked trainer in the region. Maybe. He's listed in the Hall of Fame book at the Academy, but we all know that some trainers can get in there for outstanding achievements like taking down a bunch of Titan Pokemon and finding the cure to cancer. Did the game ever tell us what was actually wrong with Arvin's dog? Wait, no, I'm getting more sidetracked than Turo when he went to pick up milk from the store. Now, where was I? Oh, right, to find out if Turo was actually a top-tier trainer, I decided to play through Pokemon Scarlet as Turo, using the same Pokemon movesets and abilities as his in-game team. Yeah, none of these Pokemon are even available in Scarlet version. But since we're talking about past Turo here, let's just assume that he's used the present day versions of these Paradox Pokemon, and I know that Iron Valiant could be represented by one of two final evolutions, so just let RNG decide based on the gender of the first routes I run into. Now before we kick off this journey, I think I should tell you that this isn't any old character run. It's the season finale to my Paldea and Could X Become Champion series, which has quite a bit of story and lore. You can go watch all the other episodes if you like this stuff and linked in the description, but since you're already here, let me just give you the quick rundown. I was sent to Paldea to test the power levels of his gym leaders, but got stuck in a time loop thanks to the past obsessed Professor Sada and her malfunctioning time machine. Along the way, I was given the powers of the 4 Curses of Ruination and found out that this Pokemon named Terapagos was turning my previous selves into crystal stakes for some reason. On my last journey with the gym leaders, I got sent back 1,000 years. A lot has happened in that time, but I mostly took a really long nap. When I finally woke up, I ran into Turo all the way in Kitakami, and now we're back to Paldea to help save his dear Sada from the clutches of Terapagos. And that's where I come in.
Are you done monologuing yet?
Almost. I just need to write out all the rules we'll be following to keep this run fair.
Rules? Fair? Do you think Terapagos has been playing fair? Give me that list. The only rule we'll follow is that we win. And also no revives or excessive heals. I'm nearly out of money from all the traveling and those things are expensive.
Dang dude, you need to chill.
Chill? Chill? You do realize I'm always freezing thanks to that little curse your past self gave me, right?
Yeah, you keep telling me about this talking vampy, but I don't remember that ever happening.
Well then feast your eyes, ogre boy. Because this is what happens when you try to play fair with Terapagos. See that stick over there? That was you at some point.
Huh, now that you mention it, it does look familiar. I'm surprised it's still in one piece.
And why is that?
It's funny that you of all people asked that question. But I guess I should be thanking you for breaking all those other stakes. Because if what Calyrex told me is true, that's exactly what we need to do.
Wait, what are you...
Ha, man, that felt good.
Why would you do that?
Because the Pokemon encased in that stake was part of me. While its physical form is long gone, things like its soul and memories remain locked within the crystal. By shattering them, they can finally be free and return to their rightful owner, me.
So you remember everything you did as a vampy now?
Vaguely, but most importantly, I remember exactly where we need to go to get some info on Terapagos.
You do?
Yeah, but first we're gonna need to go collect some gym badges. We started our journey by catching that male route and making our way to Mesagoza. Since I can finally use items in a challenge run, I didn't want to let this opportunity go to waste, so we instantly hit the shops and got some wise glasses for a young Valiant. We also spent a ton of time looking around the rooftops of Mesagoza, mainly to find a TM for Grassnot. We technically could have just taken the normal path, but getting to this area requires you to walk through some very hard to see side streets. Anyways, now that we're done prepping, it was time to head out east and catch our second team member, Makuhita, or should I say Hands. While exploring the area to snag some other TMs like Icy Wind and Bulldoze, we saw a giant cloth and decided to challenge it for some extra experience before taking on the gyms. Our strategy was pretty simple: spam Send Attack to lower its accuracy, then Grass Knot to make its HP fall down to 0. Having gained some confidence in our team, we hopped back to Mesagoza to get a held item for Hands, and then took the scenic road to Cortando, making sure to pick up that TM for Rock Tomb along the way. Unfortunately for us, one good move would not be enough to sweep at Katie's gym. She ain't even hiring janitors right now. Our initial strategy was to set up Focus Energy for more crit hits than spam Rock Tomb, but our HP got cut down pretty fast, and since Teddy Ursa is more nimble, it could finish off Hands before we could throw rocks. Meanwhile, Valiant would just get one shot. It's a baby. Since it was important to keep hands alive, in our next attempt we spammed Sand Attack to make it so that Nimble couldn't kick us, then used the potion to heal and set up a substitute. Unfortunately, these dolls are too easily broken, so instead of trying again, we rage quit, went back down to where Cloth hangs out, and picked up the TM for Drain Punch. Why bother with all these fancy strategies when we can just brute force our way to a win? Am I right, gamers? On turn 1 we set up our focus energy since crit hits are nice, then we terastalize into a fighting type, giving us Devil Stab, which means our not very effective fighting type move would be doing normal amounts of damage. And we could also recover some HP along the way. When Katie sent out her ace, we decided to give it some pocket sand because those fury swipes are annoying, and then I thought I'd try throwing some rocks at her bear, and I guess all we needed was one crit hit. Unfortunately for us, this wasn't the only difficult early game gym for Turo. While we had no trouble drain punching all the rowdy Sunflora and Artisan, we couldn't exactly punch Brassius' lead since it kept putting us to sleep on the very first turn. And even when we managed to wake up and push through to his ace, the Sudowoodo was somehow too fast, and our Valiant was still way too weak, still a baby. We tried this battle several times, and for some reason, the 75% accuracy sleep powder landed every single time. Our substitute could only bulk through one move, and even at full HP, Hands couldn't take down the Trulawudo. We even tried an evasion-based strategy where Hands used Mud Slap to lower Sudowoodo's accuracy, and Valiant set up like 3 double teams, so we could survive for a few extra turns. But sadly, our super effective Icy Wind attacks were doing basically baby damage because Routes is still a baby, meaning it was back to square one. At first my idea was to go and snag that Eviolite item from the secluded beach, but in order to get it, we'd have to win 7 battles against trainers that are way above our level. So instead we settled on another strategy, the key to which was also found on that secluded beach. Bulk Up. It's a simple status move that boosts the user's physical attack and defense stats, and is just what Hands needed to turn the tides of battle. We spammed Mud Slap on the Petalo so that its sleep powder would finally miss, and then we healed up because it wasn't missing enough, and of course it's gonna hit us! Thankfully the rest of its attacks didn't, so we could wake up, set up a focus energy for more crits, and then start bulking up our stats. Again? Okay, I'm done playing games with this little flower. Next time we wake up, it's going down. I should've just KO'd it sooner, to be honest, since Smoliv only knows physical moves and spamming Bulk Up would make it do even less damage. This meant we could now safely max out our stats, terastalize, and one-punch the Olive. Brassius followed up with his Trulawudo, but this time the Trailblaze was barely doing any damage, and if the tree wasn't so sturdy, it would've gotten one shot. I guess it gets 2 shot instead. Having acquired our second gym badge, we made our way towards Navincia for gym number 3, and let me tell you gamers, Iono was even more of a challenge. Going into a fight 2v4 is always a bad idea, but it's even worse of an idea when your lead is weak to their lead, and your ace deals less damage than if I were to throw an actual ace card at the enemy. And to make matters worse, we were severely underleveled. Needless to say, we were going to have to train up our team a bit, and since I never got to finish that quest to get the Eviolite, I thought it was a good time as any to head back towards the secluded beach and take down some trainers. Oh look, there's even Larvitar along the way, so we can have a third teammate. After winning a series of battle, our weak little Routes finally managed to evolve into a Curlia, our new Larvitar got the Eviolite for extra bulk, and we weren't even done with our prep, because the level cap at Iono's gym is 24, and guess what level Makuhita needs to be in order to evolve? So we gave it some candy and went back for a proper rematch. Larvitar used Smackdown to knock her first Pokemon out of the sky, then screeched at her Belly Bolt to turbo lower its physical defense. After that, we could do some major damage with a Stomping Tantrum, but she countered us with a Water Gun, so poor little Thorns was down for the count. Thankfully, our newly evolved Hands could easily bulldoze through this bulky frog. Paluxio tried to intimidate us, so we set up a focus energy and switched to using Draining Punch. That way we'd have enough HP for her final Pokemon. She tried to confuse us, but that didn't stop Hands from throwing a punch. And next Iono went on the offensive, but her Hex attack wasn't doing much either, which meant all we had to do was punch her Ghost one more time. And now the third badge was mine. Well, ours.
Hold it, you two!
Iono?
Aha! I knew it was you!
Wait, you recognize me?
How could I not, Mr. Shocky Sheep? Even if you disguise yourself as another Pokemon, I can still tell it's you.
Man, I haven't been called that name in ages.
Ages? But we just talked the other day.
The other day? You mean when Sada put me in her time machine?
No, that was a week ago. But then she told me you were probably just lost somewhere in the region since she only sent you back by a couple days. So, I made a bunch of videos asking all my viewers to help find you. And a few days later, I got a ton of DMs telling me about a talking Psyduck named Vasko who was wandering around the lighthouse. I got there faster than lightning, and that's when we talked.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that happening.
Did turning into a rock wipe your memories or something, Green Guy?
Green guy? Wait, turning into a rock?
Yeah, you kind of freaked out when you saw me. Said you'd give me a special gift, and then poof, you became this really pretty crystal rock theme.
And you're saying this all happened the other day?
Yeah-huh, like 2 days ago.
But that's impossible. We were just heading back from Kitakami 2 days ago.
Hey, Shocky Sheep, that's not fair. How come you're going around having adventures with this grumpy Gramps instead of me?
It's a lot to explain, and I will, but could you take us to where that pretty crystal was?
Fine, but you better tell me everything along the way.
Yes, I will.
Wow, I can't believe you got to travel through time so many times. Maybe I should go ask Sada to put me in the time machine too.
No, that doesn't sound like a good idea. Also, were you always this envious? Wait, what gift did the Psyduck give you exactly?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Did you feel anything different after your encounter?
Now that you mentioned it, I've been feeling kind of warm ever since I met Mr. Psyduck, but I'm pretty sure it's just a fever or something.
No. Fevers make you feel cold. I believe I know what's going on here.
You do?
Indeed. When I met the talking vampy years ago, it too gave me a gift.
Then I want that gift too.
No, you do not, foolish little girl. For it is not a gift, but a curse.
The power of a curse, actually.
Power? The only thing this power's done is make me feel cold all the time, and a nagging feeling of hatred towards the world.
That's probably what I have too. It's just hot all the time, and I'm a lot more envious of everyone, including you, Grumpy Gramps.
Stop calling me that, you insolent little girl.
Only when you stop scowling at me all the time, Grumpy Gramps.
Only when you start talking at a normal volume. Turn it down a bit. Jeez, you act like your mother's a loudred.
I'll have you know, my mama is a hex maniac and not a big mouth Pokemon.
Enough, you two! The past me's gave you their powers because they thought of you as friends, because they wanted to protect you both from Terapagos. We're on the same team here, so stop arguing already.
I apologize. I've lost my composure.
Me too. I'm sorry, Shocky Sheep. And I'm sorry, Grumpy Gramps.
Hey.
Turo, let it go. She only gives these silly nicknames to people she likes.
Fine. I'll put up with it for now.
Great. Now then, to do the thing we came here for.
Mr. Shocky Sheep, why did you do that?
Because that crystal was holding on to some of my soul, and by breaking it, I could finally set it free.
Your soul? Oh, Mama did mention she sent something in there, but she couldn't find a way to bring you back.
You tried to bring him back?
Of course! Mr. Shocky Sheep and I were the bestest of friends. I wasn't gonna leave him to be a statue forever. Wait, are you saying you didn't try to help the Shocky Sheep you met before?
Of course I tried. My dear Sada and I ran all sorts of experiments and analyses on that stone, but we couldn't find a way to undo the petrification.
Aw, you guys. See? Same team.
Fine. Miss Iono, it appears I have severely misjudged you.
Same here, Grumpy Gramps. But I guess I can't call you that now that you're smiling.
No, you can keep calling me that if you wish. Anyways, green guy, I think we've lingered here long enough.
Wait, you're leaving already? Can I come too?
As you may have guessed by now, the two of us are on a quest to take down the Pokemon that caused this whole mess. The time travel, the petrification, not to mention brainwashing my wife, is far too dangerous for someone like you to get involved.
Aw, come on, Grumpy Gramps. I'm pretty strong, you know. I am a champion rank trainer after all, and I have the power of a curse just like you.
Fine. As much as I hate to admit it, you may prove to be a valuable ally. We'll be sure to call you if things go south.
Sounds like you're still planning to leave me behind, but I want to travel with Mr. Shocky Sheep too.
Hey, Iono, I know you want to join us right now, but there's something else we need help with. Something only you can do.
And what would that be, Mr. Shocky Sheep?
Unlike Turo here, who's extremely antisocial, you're very friendly and have an extensive network of fans ready to give you useful information. I mean, I've gone through Paldea at least 8 different times and haven't managed to find a single other me. But it took you only a few days.
Well, I am Paldea's #1 streamer.
Exactly. So while we're going around and preparing for our eventual battle with Terapagos, it would be really helpful if you could hang back and try to gather some extra information for us.
Sure, I could do that. So what you want to know?
A lot of things. For starters, there should be 2 other Miis wandering around the region. Maybe they've already turned to stone, but it's very important that I find them.
More Shocky Sheeps or Sparkly Stones. Got it. What else?
Well, any information on Area 0 or Terapagos would be pretty useful.
I see. Well, leave it all to me, Mr. Shocky Sheep. And you too, Grumpy Gramps.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Iono. Now then, let us be on our way.
Having finished our talks with Iono, we decided to rummage through a pile of stones in the local mines until we found the Dawnstone needed to evolve Curlia into a Gallade. Now that our Valiant had finally evolved, we could have it hold the muscle band that used to be on hands, and it's so strong that it can practically one-shot the giant worm lurking around the mines. We also decided to level up a bit more by challenging the local trainers in the mines, which got us an extra item, the Punching Glove, which is perfect for hands since it boosts the power of punching moves, and we have a lot of those. With our training complete, we made our way towards the other side of the map where things were just as strange. There was a giant flying stork that we shot out of the sky, there was a blockade on the road towards Cascarafa, and the only side route was through the desert where there was another giant Pokemon that looked like an ancient Donphan. We decided to approach this Pokemon since we've already taken down like 3 giants, and on the way saw another member for our team. No, not that! Come back here, Larvesta, you're the one we need! But if you've seen the Sada video, you know I know that Larvesta isn't the best lead at the moment, so instead we led with Valiant, which wasn't a good choice either. We decided to give Moth a try, and even though it got one shot, its flame body ability managed to burn the giant tusk, so its physical moves won't be as strong now. Then we followed up with Thorns, who used Screech to lower this titan's physical defenses, and finally we sent out Hands for the sweep. We were bulky enough to take a punch, and had our handy Draining Punch to help heal us up after attacking. Sadly, that healing wasn't enough, so we had to use 1 Hyper Potion, but that's all we needed to survive and take down the 4th Titan. Now that the coast was clear, we could finally go to Cascarafa and challenge the Water-type gym. Our first order of business was to get rid of our Flying-type weakness by terastallizing into a Psychic-type, that way Veluza wouldn't just knock us out. And instead, we could knock it out with our Leaf Blades. The Wug Trio also got one shot, but it did get to lower speed thanks to its GUI ability. Lucky for us, we were still faster than the Snowy Crab, and our Leaf Blade was strong enough to just one-shot it as well, getting us our easiest win of the run, the Gallade Solo Sweep. Now that we had 4 gym badges, it was time to go shopping. Yeah, money! We got the Razor Claw to help boost Valiant's crit rate, and gave our Muscle Band to Moth, who is definitely a physical attacker, just like the rest of our team. Anyways, our next stop was Medali, which meant even more walking through the desert. This time we decided to battle some of the trainers near Porto Marinata, which got Larvitar to evolve, as well as that Focus Ash item from the League rep near town. And let me tell you gamers, this is like the most useful item in the run, because it functions like Sudowoodo's sturdy ability. The Pokemon will survive with 1 HP and will not get one shot, which will give a lot more Pokemon a chance to shine. Our strategy against Larry was to lead with Hands since it's got that super effective fighting type move, but his drowsy Kamala got to put our Muscle Man to sleep. We managed to finish off the lead before that happened, but sadly our lead became the punching bag for Larry's Dudunsparce. Next we followed up with Gallade, who also knew a fighting type move, allowing us to one-shot the Middlemon, and that left Larry with just his Staraptor, which could easily one-shot us with an Aerial Ace. Probably could've just terastallized here to take less damage, but hindsight 2020. Anyways, we followed up with Thorns, which is extremely bulky thanks to that Eviolite, and decided to spam Screech in order to cut down Staraptor's defenses. Then we used Smackdown to deal a bit of damage, and the rest was all up to Moth. A weak little bug against an overpowered normal bird. And of course, we decided to terrestrialize here into a bug type because, I don't know, I genuinely don't know what I was thinking during this battle. We got hit with a super effective arrow ace but survived with 1 HP thanks to the focus sash, and then we attacked with our strongest move, Leech Life, meaning for once, the bug had the real advantage, although I definitely didn't have to dunk on Lyria like this. I'm sorry, pal. The good news for us is that we could now go catch a flying type of our own as well, Delibird, a Pokemon that's giving me a bad case of the Mandela effect. If I were to ask you, what color does shiny Delibird have, and you answered blue just like I did, you'd be surprised to find out that in fact the shiny Delibird was never blue. It was always this weird purple color, yet I have a very strong memory of seeing a blue Delibird, and I can't even find any clues of this online. Did a blue Delibird ever exist? You guys let me know in the comments please. Anyways, weird tangents aside, it was time to battle Rhyme. We decided to lead with Bundle and Thorns, setting up a layer of spikes and then using Crunch to damage the Bayonet. Rhyme's team wasn't doing too much damage to us, so we decided to set up a second layer of spikes and finish off her first ghost. She followed up with Houndstone, which vanished into thin air, so we decided to double down on the Mimikyu, breaking its disguise and crunching its claws. Sadly, her Houndstone Shadow Force was payback, knocking out our bundle, so no more savings for us. Rhyme terrestrialized her ace and went after Thorns, but that Eviolite item was good at keeping us alive. We returned a favor with a Crunch, which managed to one-shot, which left her with just a Ghost Dog. Instead of playing fetch though, it loves to hide. The following turn it finally got to take out Thorns, but it was left wide open for the aggressive Pets of Hands, which quickly ended the battle. Having claimed 6 badges, it was time to once again go to the other side of the map for the next gym. But in order to get to Alfornada, you have to get through this giant cave, and inside the cave, you find our last teammate for this run, Dano. This Pokemon has me extra worried since its final evolution doesn't happen until level 64, but the cap for Gita, the region's champion, is 62, meaning we'll be fighting Miss Top Champion here with a Pokemon that isn't even fully evolved. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, let's focus on the next gym. In our battle against Tulip, we once again decided to bundle together several layers of spikes for her team. Then it was time for Moth to shine again, since bug type moves are super effective here. The bad news was that we were too slow for the Gardevoir and too simp to one-shot it with a super effective critical hit. What? Oh right, I forgot that Gardevoir's newly added fairy typing makes it take normal amounts of damage from dark type moves, so it wasn't super effective. Still, we managed to finish it off the next turn, but we were once again too slow, so Tulip's Spathra could finish us off. Thankfully, Thorns was bulky enough to take her psychic attacks and strong enough to finish it off with a couple of crunches, leaving Tulip with just her ace, which is pretty threatening. It's got a super powerful fairy type move, and her physical dark type attack wasn't quite strong enough to one-shot, which means that our new team member, the Emo Dinosaur, has to carry here. We terrestrialized into a dark type, survived a super effective Moonblast thanks to that Focus Sash again, and finished off the battle with a powerful Crunch. Truly a scuffed victory, but a victory nonetheless. And that meant just one more gym badge to get. But before we run up Glaciado Mountain, I decided to take a different route and ran into some pretty weird environmental effects. I know it's supposed to be snowing in this area, but for some reason it felt extra sparkly and a bit out of place. Not sure if it's a glitch or intended, but I thought it looked a bit cool, so I just wanted to share. Anyways, time to battle Grusha. Just like the usual, we try to set up a bunch of spikes, but this time around his lead Pokemon managed to one-shot us. We followed up with Thorns, which could return the one-shot favor, to which Grusha responded with Cetitan, who said no you to our no you, knocking out our Pokemon in one shot as well. It was time to stop this one-shot charade, so we followed up with Hands, who finally didn't end the battle in one hit, which to be honest isn't a great thing, but it makes it a bit more fun. Unfortunately, fun is simply unbearable for Grusha, who used Icicle Crash to flinch Hands and then finished him off the next turn. We sent out Moth next, which used its Flame Wheel to do some decent damage, but took a big hit from an Earthquake and then got finished off with an Aqua Jet before we could do anything else. I should have sent out Valiant earlier to be honest, but I didn't think he was fast enough. I thunk wrong. Since Grusha turned his ace Pokemon into a pure Ice type, we could just attack it with Sacred Sword and finish it off in one blow, getting us the final gym badge needed to challenge the Elite Four. Way to go, Turo.
Oh hey, another talking Pokemon.
Wait, Grusha, you remember me too?
No, we've never met before.
The boy clearly said another.
That's right. Say, you aren't going to turn to ice too, are you?
Turn to ice? Not stone? No, I will not. But I'd appreciate it if you could take us to the one that did.
I'd rather not.
And why is that?
I'm scared that if I go back there, I might turn to ice too.
You're a lot more cowardly than I remember. Wait, did that talking Pokemon give you a gift by any chance?
I don't think so, but it is kind of creepy that you're asking all these super specific questions.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you like that, but could you at least tell us a bit more about this other talking Pokemon?
Sure. I was just stepping out for a walk yesterday morning when a little gimmighoul suddenly got in my way and asked for directions.
Sounds like the Pokemon we're looking for. So, where did he want to go?
Top of the mountain.
That sounds like quite the long walk.
It was, and I should have known better than to join him for the hike. My leg still hasn't fully recovered from that incident.
Wait, you went all the way to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, it was almost noon by the time we made it up there, and as soon as we did, there was some sort of earthquake. Then the Pokemon turned to ice.
Did anything else happen?
I don't think so. Maybe some sort of eclipse? 'Cause everything got darker, even though there wasn't a single cloud in the sky.
Say, boy, what color is my tie?
I don't know. Blue, maybe?
Sounds like everything is still a lot darker for you than usual. This tie is clearly purple. You'd only confuse the colors if you aren't perceiving enough light. Given the information we've collected so far, I'd say he did, in fact, receive a gift from the talking Pokemon too, just like Miss Iono.
Iono? I knew I should have messaged her about it, especially with all the videos she's been posting about these talking Pokemon.
Then why didn't you, boy?
'Cause it's embarrassing, old man. I don't want her to know that I'm a friendo. And what if she accidentally leaked our DMs in one of her streams? Then the whole world would know.
So you just care about your image?
Yeah, people look up to me because I'm cool and collected. And I'm scared to let them down, you know? Can you imagine how disappointed they'd be if they found out I like watching someone as hyper as Iono?
So you're scared of letting down absolute strangers?
Alright, enough of this, you two. Turo, this is your second strike. You gotta stop picking fights with people.
But if he had informed Iono, we could have gotten here sooner. And what if there's a bunch of other cowards like him, withholding important information on Terapagos? If this boy is so concerned about the kind of role model he's being, then he should at least be a good one, not this.
Oh my gosh, Turo, cut him some slack. It sounds like Grusha got the power of fear, so it's probably extra hard for him to do these kind of things right now.
No, he's right.
He is?
I am? See?
Iono and I have been colleagues for a long time, long before I met this talking Pokemon. And I never once had the courage to tell her that I like her content, even though I've been a fan long before she got popular.
Okay.
I just didn't want to ruin people's image of me, even if it meant I couldn't talk to others that I thought were cool. But what that old man just said, it really struck a chord with me, you know?
I thought he was just being a hater.
Maybe, but he's definitely right about one thing. If I'm going to be scared of ruining the image people have of me, then that image better be a good one. Because what's scarier than letting people down is leading people astray.
Bro.
So even though I'm kind of terrified right now, let me make up for my mistake. I'll take you to the spot where that talking Pokemon turned to ice.
Great. And while we walk there, how about I tell you everything that's happened so far?
Wow, your story sounds pretty cool. Anyways, we're here.
Thanks, Grusha. Also, that's definitely a crystal and not ice.
Sorry. Everything looks kind of dark, so it's hard to tell.
That's alright. We found what we were looking for. Now then.
Listen, boy. No, man. I take back what I said about you. It took me years to overcome the hatred that flowed through my mind thanks to this curse. Yet in one short conversation, you managed to brave through the fear that's flooding yours.
It sounds kinda cool when you put it that way. But in reality, I just found a bigger fear that's happened to set me on a better path. Speaking of which, this Terapagos sounds like quite the scary foe. So if the two of you need some backup, please, let me know.
It seems like we've found ourselves another reliable ally.
Another?
Iono is also helping us out.
Iono?
Who do you think asked her to help find all this info on all these talking Pokemon and Terapagos?
I see.
We didn't just scare you away again, did we?
No. Okay, maybe a little, but I want to help regardless.
Haha, attaboy. We'll be sure to call you when the time is right.
Cool, I'll be ready.
Now then, let's go prepare for the final trial.
Before making our way to the Elite Four, Turo and I needed to train up a bit more, so it was time to hit the flower field to the north one last time. We made the most effective buttermayo sandwich, and then went after any Chansey or Blissey that wasn't smart enough to run away. This gave us enough experience points to level up our team by 10, and evolve both Torns and Jugulus, which is apparently taken from the Latin word jugulum, which means neck. The future form of this thing is just iron neck, but Jugulus definitely sounds cooler. Anyways, it was time to take on the Elite Four. Our strategy against Rika was to smash her ground-type Pokemon with hands, but her Donphan shook up those plans with a critical hit. We tried to continue the sweep with Valiant and his Leaf Blades, but the elephant was just too sturdy, and her Dugtrio decided to sucker punch us. So it was finally time for Bundle to do something other than set up spikes. This time it would go on the offensive, using the Ice Spinner move we got from Grusha, allowing it to one-shot the Dugtrio and deal major damage to the Eclair. Rika tried to Toxic Stall us for some reason, but we had a clause against that in the fine print, not enough to opt out of this bundle. Poppy was up next, and for once, I had zero struggles against her. We set up Belly Drum with hands, which maxes out our attack stat and cuts our HP in half, but Poppy wasted her first turn setting up Stealth Rock, which meant we could just go ahead and Drain Punch through her whole team, including the bulky Corviknight and the overpowered Kirby. Larry, on the other hand, was a lot more trouble than usual, probably because we embarrassed him with the bug early in this run. We decided to lead with Bundle again, since the Ice Spinner move is super effective against his lead, Tropius. For some reason, he decided to follow up with Altaria, which is another Pokemon that has a 4x weakness to Ice-type moves. Finally, a Pokemon that makes sense. A little too much sense if you ask me. We decided to try Hands next since it knows Ice Punch, but sadly it got one-shot by Brave Bird as well. Moth was back for a rematch, and just like last time, Staraptor failed to one-shot thanks to the Focus Sash, and then it knocked itself out with Recoil. Larry sent out his Oricorio next, and we responded with Thorns, which could easily one-shot with a Stone Edge. However, Thorns has a 4x weakness against fighting-type moves, and that's exactly what Larry decided to use next. We followed up with Jugulus, who happens to have a 2x weakness to fighting-type moves, but it was also holding the Eviolite to super boost its defenses, allowing it to survive one attack and use Scary Face to slow down the Florida Bird. There are speed limits, Floridians, you know who you are. Turns out that made us fast enough to attack first, almost knocking out Larry's ace, but since it lived with a few HP, it got to take us out, before dying to the effects of Sandstorm. And since we still had Valiant in the party with full HP, that was another victory for me. Before going on to fight Hassel, we decided it was finally time to let Moth evolve. After all, the level cap was now slightly above its evolution level, and that also meant we could switch up our items a bit, giving our newly evolved Pokemon the Wise Glasses for more special attack, and slapping that Focus Sash onto Jugulus. I would have kept the Eviolite, but considering Hassel uses strong dragons, a guaranteed survive sounded like the better option. We continue to lead with Bundle, who has once again just become our one-trick deli, using Ice Spinner to instantly knock out Noivern. Out next was Haxorus, and we responded with Thorns, which causes a Sandstorm and can bulk through a super effective attack, and also could deal some decent damage with Ice Fang. However, it is not immune to flinching, so down it goes. Thankfully, Moth is fast enough to finish off the Haxorus and has a Psychic-type move to take care of the Poison Seahorse Dragon. Its Bug Buzz attack was powerful enough to one-shot Flapple, leaving out Hassel with just his ace. Moth was still fast enough to land the first hit, but it barely did any damage and then got one-shot by the Frosty Dragon. We followed up with Jugulus, who could tank through one move thanks to the Sash, and used Scary Face to slow the dragon down so that the rest of the team could potentially attack first and do some damage. It was time to go all out, so we sent out Valiant to Terastalize into a Psychic type for an extra buff and then used Psycho Cuck to 1 HP. Lucky for us, we still had an extra hand around, using Knock Off to slap that 1 HP out of Hassel's grasp. Having conquered the Elite Four, Turo and I could finally challenge Gita and see if he has what it takes to become champion. While Gita was busy setting up random reflects, we used Bundle to layer on some spikes for the rest of her team. Then we followed up with Moth, who set up a Quiver Dance to boost its stats. Whoops, I forgot that she had that ability, but nothing to worry about since we can resist her attacks and then one-shot the next turn. And with the setup complete, it was smooth sailing. We used Heat Wave to burn away her King Gambit, Bug Buzz to make Veluza buzz off, another Heat Wave to melt her Avalugg, and another Bug Buzz to make her Go-Goat go away. Her Glimmora actually managed to survive one attack and even finished off Moth with a single Sludge Wave, but at this point she was in such a bad corner that I could send out a not fully evolved Jugulus, have it survive with 1 HP, and then finish off her best Pokemon with a simple crunch. So to answer the question of could Turo actually become champion, at least Turo in the past, and the answer is absolutely yes, as long as you can use health items. Otherwise, he does not stand a chance. That Eviolite and Focus Sash definitely helped us turn the tides of too many battles, but were definitely necessary for this run considering how odd Turo's team is.
You done talking trash yet?
Sorry about that.
So who here knows something about Terapagos?
Here? No one.
But you said that we could find someone who knew if I could make it to the champion rank, and I did, so where are they? You didn't lie to me, did you?
Of course not, but the person who knows isn't here. We just needed the rank so that the Pokemon League can't stop us from getting to where they are.
And where is that exactly?
Area 0.
Well, if it isn't my deadbeat husband and that clingy talking Pokemon that won't take a hint.
And who are you?
Come now, Turo. Surely you haven't forgotten about me already? It's only been, 10 years since you left?
I will not ask a third time. Who are you?
It's me, Sada, your lovely wife.
You really think I can't recognize my own wife? You may look like her and sound like her, but you are not my Sada.
I didn't think you'd be this sharp.
Where is she?
I can tell you dressed up in everything just to see her. But unfortunately for you, Sada isn't here right now.
Then where is she?
Why so serious, Turo?
I am not here to play games with a filthy imposter. I don't know what you are or what you're doing here, but you will tell me where to find my wife right now.
She always did like how assertive you are. Fine, I'll answer some of your questions. Just remember to take deep breaths, okay? I am Sada's trusty robot assistant, running on an AI constructed from her memories. She built me after you abandoned her. After all, if her dear husband betrayed her, the only person she could trust in this sad, cruel world was herself.
Stop dancing around the question, robot. Where is my Sada?
Ugh, you're no fun. No wonder Terapagos doesn't like you. Sada happened to find a little talking mouse Pokemon poking its nose where it does not belong, and since he convinced her that our time machine is broken, which it is not, she decided to go and try fix it.
Talking mouse Pokemon? That's the last me.
Correct. This is the third time you've waltzed into our lab. Uninvited, I might add.
Well, it wouldn't have happened if you stopped throwing me into your time machine.
Whatever do you mean? We've only sent you back once. Yet somehow it made 2 of you? And you're speaking all sorts of nonsense, just like the mouse. No wonder Terapagos doesn't like you.
Enough idle chatter. You will take us to Sada.
And if I refuse?
Then we'll have to use force.
Well then, be my guest. I'm sure my roaring moon will have a fun time tearing through your team. But let's take this elsewhere. I'm sure you don't want to accidentally destroy your dear Sada's research. Follow me.
Ogre, have your cudgel at the ready. If she tries anything funny, you know what to do.
That won't be necessary.
Oh, really?
Of course. I may not be your Sada, but I am just like her. I would never intentionally hurt you. If anything, I might just be eager to show you the fruits of our research. Now come.
You're taking us to the time machine, aren't you?
Quite the lovely place for a conclusive battle, wouldn't you say? Now then, let us begin.
The battle started out as Mirror Moth versus Ancient Moth. We set up a quiver dance to boost our stats, and AI Sada attacked us with a lunge to lower our attack. Then we went to the offensive with Psychic, but since her Moth survived with 1 HP, it got to hit us again and lower our speed this time. Thankfully, we were still fast enough to finish it off the next turn. She followed up with Flutter Mane, which had a rock type move, and as we all know, Moth weak to rock. We send out Hands next, which could use its Heavy Slam to make this thing go extinct. It even managed to do some major damage to the Screen Tail, although this thing likes to play rough. We followed up with Bundle that did some chip damage, and then Thorns, who finally finished it off. Her Brute Bonnet was also a bit tricky since it could use Giga Drain to steal some of our health, however it wasn't stealing enough to survive the onslaught of super effective Ice Fang attacks. We didn't have much HP left to do more with Thorns, but that just means that Jugulus would get to enjoy its one single battle in its fully evolved form. This 3-headed dragon is pretty bulky, being able to take several hits like a champ, and pretty strong too, using Earth Power twice to finish off the Sandy Shocks. That left Sada with her prehistoric dragon, who instantly one-shot our Hydra, leaving Turo with just his ace as well. Roaring Moon got to attack us first, but Valiant survived with just a few HP to spare, then launched a Sacred Sword in return, landing a critical hit and instantly one-shotting AI Sada's last Pokemon, getting us the win.
According to Sada's memories, you were never that good at Pokemon battles. So how did you get so strong?
Everything I did for Sada's sake. If she was stuck down here thanks to the influence of some super strong Pokemon, then I simply had to become stronger, and so I did.
You barely beat me in a battle. Do you seriously think you can beat a Pokemon like Terapagos?
No, but he can.
So, that's why Terapagos wanted me to get rid of you.
Wait a second. Does that mean that the time machine failure wasn't just an unexplained accident?
Correct. I was tampering with its functionality behind the scenes in the depths below Area Zero, and Sada was none the wiser. After all, she would never doubt me, for she trusts herself completely. All I had to do was tell her that nothing was wrong, and that was that, up until the mouse showed up anyways.
The other me.
The depths under Area Zero? That's where Sada went?
Oops, did I let that slip? Fine, yes, you're right. That elevator there can go even deeper than the room we're currently in. It leads all the way down to a cave below the Great Crater. There, we store the crystals that help this time machine function, as well as the true treasure of Paldea.
Wait, something's off. Why are you cooperating all of a sudden?
Well, you did win our battle, fair and square, but also...
What is that sound?
The time machine?
You catch on fast, but not fast enough, boys.
What are you doing?
Simple. I have in my possession the Indigo Disc, the only key that lets you access the place where Sada went. And now, with the help of this here time machine, I'll be sending myself on a one-way trip to the distant past. A place where you dare not venture, for you'll be forever lost to the sands of time. Even the ogre would become a fossil. A fossil! Long before he makes it back from that journey. So, do not follow me. Understood?
Wait, no. That means Sada will be locked down there forever.
I am aware, but I must do all I can to protect our paradise. Now, Taro, be a dear, and get back to the elevator, please.
No, only after I take that disc from your cold, robotic hands.
Stubborn as ever. Unfortunately, I cannot disobey a direct order from Terapagos. I cannot stop this jump, and I cannot give you this disc. So, please, get back to the elevator. You'll be safe there.
Why care about my safety now of all times?
Did you forget already? I'm built from Sada's memories. I may not love you, but I know how much she does. And I do not wish for her to lose you a second time. So please, elevator, now. Ogre!
Fine.
What are you doing? No, let me through. Sada, no, you can't leave. I need that disc. Please, Sada! Terapagos. Every time I think he's gone too far, he proves me wrong and goes yet further still.
Honestly, yeah, even I didn't think he'd go this far.
And you, why did you have to get in my way?
The time machine was set to 250 million years, Turo, and the return function is definitely still broken.
But my dear Sada went down there to fix it. Maybe once it's working again, we could go back and take the disc?
Who knows how long that'll take, or if she'll even follow through with that plan. You did say she's still brainwashed by Terapagos, right? Wait, did you hear that sound?
The time machine? It's working again. Sada?
That ain't Sada.
Another Paradox Pokemon? It seems you're right. Terapagos has other plans for this time machine.
Even further still. How's your team doing?
It's just valiant, with a few HP. I'll have to count on you for this one, Ogre.
Fine by me. I can take at least 100 of these guys, with my eyes closed.
But we don't know how many more will spawn. We need to retreat before you start getting tired.
Fine, I'll hold them off for now. You call in our backup.
Already on it. I suppose I should call her too.
Briar speaking.
Several days later.
I didn't think he'd push us back this far.
Me neither. It feels like he's brought in a whole country's worth of Paradox Pokemon already.
And we're running out of potions.
Yoo-hoo! The cavalry is here!
Oh, wow. So this is the mysterious Area Zero that my ancestor wrote about?
It does look pretty cool.
Took you long enough.
You could just say thank you.
Fine. Thank you all for coming on such short notice.
See? Not that hard. Now was it, friendo?
Briar, did you find anything on the item we mentioned?
Absolutely. When I went to request my leave of absence from the director, I noticed a very peculiar item hanging on the wall of his office. Serrano was a bit reluctant to part ways with it, but after a whole day's worth of negotiations, he finally let me borrow it. The Indigo Disc.
It does look exactly the same, but what material could resist the forces of nature for such a long time?
Maybe it's a different disc entirely.
As far as I know, this item was discovered by Clay in the mountains of Unova, along with some fossils of Pokemon that lived around 250 million years ago. Unless there was another Indigo Disc in the distant past, this is the item you're looking for.
Then let's hope it still works.
So what's the plan?
We make our way down to the lab at the bottom of Area Zero and try to insert the disc into the control console. In theory, this should grant us access to the depths below via the elevator.
Sounds simple enough.
Except this place is crawling with Paradox Pokemon. The Ogre and I have been fending them off and backing up when their numbers started to grow too large. As you can see, we've been pushed back all the way to the outer edge of Area Zero.
I don't like the sound of that.
But now your numbers are bigger too.
2 champion-ranked trainers and a gym leader. I wouldn't say our odds are that much better.
Hey now, don't forget about me.
Did you bring any Pokemon?
No, but I did bring all the other supplies you requested.
Whoa, look at all those revives. And potions too. Now we might actually stand a chance. Thanks, Briar.
Don't mention it. After all, this might be my only chance to explore Area Zero. Now let's go make the most of it.
And so we battled our way through hordes of Paradox Pokemon, slowly making our way back down to the lab at the bottom of Area Zero. To our surprise, the console immediately recognized the Indigo Disc and gave us access to the elevator. And after an extremely long ride down, we finally reached our destination. Of course, things didn't get any easier, since there were a bunch of stellar Pokemon roaming around and blocking our way. Iono and Grusha protected Briar, while Turo and I battled the local legends and broke through the crystals blocking our way. We fought battle after battle, until eventually, we reached the very last room in this winding crystal maze.
Is that Sada?
And 2 crystal stakes, the other me.
Whoa! This room is so pretty!
Indeed, quite the dazzling chamber.
I don't know. Something about it feels a bit too creepy.
Good call, Grusha. We need to be extra careful. Status report.
1 HP, boss.
Same here, and we're all out of healing items.
Even though we overprepared, it was barely enough. But we can't turn back now. I'm down to just my Valiant and the 2 Pokemon I captured in Kitakami. Here, take them just in case.
Whoa, is that a ghost type? Now I can be even more like Mama.
A dragon?
You spar with the Dragon Tamer clan. There's no way you haven't picked up some of their strategies. Now let's go.
Whoa! Look at these giant crystals! They simply look stunning, do they not?
Terrestrial energy is spiking. Everyone, be on your guard.
Ah,
Terapagos?
greetings. Turo, Paradox, the 2 of you have been a thorn in my side for much too long. And now you dare invade our paradise? Go after my treasure?
You're one to talk, Terapagos. You took my wife from me, and now I'm here to take her back.
And you took my other selves. I need them to become whole again.
All sacrifices necessary to protect this paradise. Now leave this place, or I shall deal with you myself.
Not a chance, Terapagos. We're not leaving empty-handed.
Then there's no room to talk. I am sorry, little one, but I'll need to borrow your body for a bit.
Is that the true power of Terapagos? Look at how brilliant it glows!
Ogre, prepare for battle.
You don't have to tell me twice. Iono, back me up.
Let's go!
Thanks for the heals. Looks like Terapagos has some sort of a shield, but I just have to smash it, right? It's too tough for normal attacks. Then I guess it's finally time to use these powers.
You can terrestrialize without an orb?
It's all thanks to those curses. They've been locked inside the ground for so long that they've absorbed a bunch of terrestrial energy. That way I can transform without any interference from Terapagos here. I'll take this, you terrible turtle.
You did it?
It's not over yet.
Oh no, it's absorbing your terrestrial energy!
Look out!
Not on my watch, you don't. I'm about to drop a super hot take. Rage powder!
Nice going, Iono. That attack could have just knocked me out.
No problemo, friendo. But it looks like I'm all out of Pokemon. Grusha, you're up!
Me?
Ha ha ha! Frozen stiff, are we?
It put up another barrier?
It's fine. I broke it once, I can break it again.
But you're taking too much damage.
You're right. Can't hang on for much longer. Come on, Grusha, I need you.
I know, but I'm too scared to move. An unknown enemy. A Pokemon I've never used. I can't do this.
Yes, you can!
Iono?
I've seen the news, you know. How you had to quit snowboarding after your accident. How you kept going as a gym leader, even though being out on that frosty field caused you a lot of pain. How despite all the darkness and despair the world threw at you, you never stopped showing up to face new challengers. That's why I know you can do this, because you're the coolest gym leader in all of Paldea!
You think I'm cool?
That's right!
Now that's an image I can't afford to lose.
Now get into the zone, friendo! Mr. Shocky Sheep needs you!
Go! Hydrapple!
Attaboy.
I guess I should pitch in too. Here, our last potion.
Thanks, Briar.
Now what can this dragon do? Oh, let's try this. Dragon Cheer!
Whoa, I'm feeling pumped all of a sudden. Alright, Terapagos, it's time to go down. I can only do this one more time. Ivy? Go!
No! I cannot lose here. I cannot lose my treasure.
But you did lose, Terapagos. And now it's time to take back what is rightfully ours.
Stand back, Turo, or I'll turn your companions to stone.
Will you now?
You fool. Say goodbye to the girl.
Not so fast, friendo! I've got a VPN protecting me, but I won't tell you which one since they're not a sponsor.
Envy.
Then the boy.
Not cool. not cool at all, man.
Fear.
Ah, 8th descendant. No, I cannot harm her. Then you leave me no choice. Your precious Sada.
No! Huh?
But how?
You gave her your curse, didn't you, other me?
Even in death you defy me? But no matter. Surely Turo's protection has faded over the past decade.
Hatred.
Do you see now, Terapagos? You are the one who's powerless against us.
No, this can't be. I have failed. I cannot protect this paradise, my treasure.
My dear Sada, you're safe now.
But we don't know if the mind control is gone.
You're right. Terapagos, free her at once.
That I cannot do, because she is my last hope, my only chance at stopping you.
Stopping us from what exactly?
Don't play dumb, Paradox.
I'm not. I'm just trying to understand. Why? Why would you do all of this?
You mean you truly do not know? This is no time for jokes.
I'm serious. What's going on here, Terapagos?
And perhaps the joke was on me all along. This all started several centuries ago, in the war against Galar.
Slow down, I can't write this fast.
Don't worry, Prof. I'm recording on video too.
Thank you. Go on then.
In the distant past, giant Pokemon thrived in every region. But as time went on, natural evolution led to smaller and smaller sizes, until eventually, the titanic Pokemon vanished, one by one. All except for Terapagos.
That would be you, correct?
Not quite. Unlike other Pokemon, which can have multiple individuals of the same species, Terapagos are cursed to a lonely existence. There can only be one.
But we just battled a smaller Terapagos. Clearly, there's two of you.
Indeed. At the beginning of the world, Terapagos was one creature, stacked upon each other on various scales of magnitude. From top to bottom, it was Terapagos all the way down.
Infinite regression.
I am the continental Terapagos, the one called Paldea.
Whoa! So it's not just the name of our region, but of a whole Pokemon?
Correct. Larger than me still is Terra. It is the size of the planet. Larger still is Sola, holding the sun at its center. And even larger, Galacticus, Clusterus, and Cosmos, on whom the whole universe expands still.
Amazing.
In the distant past, the Terapagos smaller than me, but titanic to humans of your size, roamed the region freely. As the final titanic Pokemon, it required an ample supply of Herba Mystica and other foods to survive. But alas, the nutrients on my shell are not big enough to support its infinite lifespan. Thus, the ruler of this land began a conquest around the globe, extracting resources with similar energies to the local Herba Mystica in an attempt to keep the symbol of Paldea's power alive. This included invading an island to the north, now known as Galar.
Oh, I know where this is going. This led to an all-out war between the two regions. And while it seemed like the small island stood no chance, its inhabitants garnered support from Paldeans, who were unsatisfied with the old king's rule. Their golden age had long started to corrode, and the many people living in poverty did not wish to support the gluttony of its king and giant tortoise.
Indeed, many were easily swayed to stand under the flag of Calyrex, who came to stop our invasion.
The king of bountiful harvests. To the starving people of Paldea, there was no better leader. Unlike the greedy king, this Pokemon could replenish their food supplies and help them live happy lives free from hunger. If only Calyrex could win.
The king of old had heard this Pokemon had taken on an intergalactic threat in the past, and that his powers were weakening, so he sent the almighty Tortoise to the front lines in the north. But what he did not expect was that Calyrex had a powerful ally.
Me. I was stuck in the past thanks to Terapagos and the time machine, so of course I was gonna join Calyrex in stopping you. Or at least the Pokemon I thought was you.
The Titan Glaciado stood no chance against your combined powers.
Did you just say Glaciado? Like the mountain?
Wait, does that mean Glaciado's grasp is...
The aftermath of our battle.
Shocky Sheep, you did that?
I was just as surprised as you, my dear child. Alone, neither of those Pokemon stood a chance against the Titan. But together, just like humans, together they were unstoppable.
That's right. At first I thought I'd need to use all of the curse's powers to take down the giant turtle, but even then I felt like a Durant trying to whack a giant Carbink with a tiny blade of grass. Then Calyrex decided to pitch in. Using his powers, he got me to Dynamax, just like the Pokemon in Galar.
A relic of the ancient past, when Titanic Pokemon roamed the land.
And just like that, Terapagos and I were now the same size. But it also made the negative emotions from the curses get large too, so I couldn't hold back.
The giant ivy cudgel tore through the sky, with a force stronger than the comet which broke my shell millions of years ago. And then... the force of the impact was so strong that it even knocked me out for a few decades.
Unfortunately, that victory was very bittersweet. Everyone in Paldea witnessed our battle, witnessed my ability to obliterate the Pokemon they once worshipped with a single fell swoop. Their cheers quickly turned to screams, as they realized that an even more unstoppable tyrant could now rule their lands. So while I was resting to recover from the battle, they exiled me to the other side of the globe.
When I awoke, Glaciado was gone. The ogre had left my shell, and I was once again all alone.
Except you weren't.
Indeed. Humanity's thirst for knowledge and exploration did not end after that war, but instead of exploring out into the world, they began to explore inward, towards Area Zero.
And that's when Heath found it. The small Terapagos.
For so long, I believed that meteor obliterated the little creature, but it had somehow survived the impact and continued its lonely existence down here, deep below my shell.
How come you didn't notice it before?
While we, Terapagos, are one creature of many magnitudes, we can only sense and communicate directly within one scale of ourselves. Without Glaciado, I could not communicate with or sense the little one. Kind of like how you humans need microscopes and telescopes to see the world beyond your scale of existence.
But we're about the same size as the little one. How come you can communicate with us, but not him?
Because your ears are not made of the same crystal as us. To him, my words sound like a deep rumble at best, but a human's words, they can be perceived by us both.
What does any of this have to do with the time travel or my dear Sada?
Shortly after Heath's discovery, more and more humans started to flood towards Area Zero, but none of them were benevolent like Heath. They all wanted to extract resources, find treasure, and steal the Terapagos for personal gain.
But none of them managed to find it, so they labeled Heath a liar, and he lived the rest of his days an outcast from society.
And for that, I owe you an apology. Thanks to Glaciado, I had seen the greed of humans, and I wanted to protect Gem, the little Terapagos, from a similar fate. So I used my powers to block the path down here, create mazes, and summon powerful Pokemon from the distant past.
So you already had a time machine. Then why did you need Sada?
I could achieve feats such as time travel by bending the movements of light, using the crystals growing deep within my shell, but it was difficult to do so efficiently, which is a problem because I'm slowly dying. I had to find a way to conserve my energy.
You're dying?
Indeed. A meteor strike exposed my inner shell, and during a war with our neighboring region, Kalos, I was struck directly by a powerful beam containing the power of death itself. It was not enough to instantly kill me. However, it did stop my body from producing more energy.
So once you run out...
I knew my days were numbered, and as such, I wanted to find a way to protect Gem for as long as possible, and give him a happy life, if even for a brief moment. I had to create this paradise for him, before I too perished.
So you brainwashed my Sada?
That was not my intent. She was a brilliant human, with heart as kind as Heath's, which is why I allowed the two of you to conduct your research in Area Zero, even though I was concerned about the negative energy coming from your soul, Turo.
If it was not your intent, then why is she like this? What happened to her?
Since she was like Heath, I wish to request her assistance directly, but I can only communicate with humans in this very room. It is only here that I can vibrate crystals whose resonance makes sound waves audible for your kind. So I created the indigo disc, which refracts light in such a way that even that man-made elevator could reach the depths below my shell in a reasonable time. She was so excited to explore this place, but unfortunately lacked your levels of caution.
So you let her get hurt?
Nothing like that. It was something even I had not expected. Something you may have seen on your way here.
The crystal tree?
Indeed. For that is the birthplace of a Pokemon known as Petulant.
Wait, that's the thief that came after me in Kitakami.
It is a Pokemon that uses its toxins to control other people. The creature fled my domain shortly after its birth by taking control of some local explorers. I have not heard of it since.
Well, it sure was a troublesome one. Wait, but if Sada got affected by it, does that mean there's another one around here?
No, there was only ever one. However, its toxins from its body were still spread all over that tree, and Sada was all too quick to get her hands on it. Unfortunately, that made her susceptible to the will of others. So when I requested her aid,
She took it as an order. No wonder she was acting so strange. Wait, does that mean you cannot dispel this curse?
it is not a curse, Turo. If it were that simple, I would have freed her long ago.
No, my dear Sada.
There was no backing out after that. Sada devoted herself to the construction of a time machine, which barely used any of my life energy to function. Once you left her, Turo, she grew lonely, but under that powerful influence, the best she could do was to build a robot replicant of herself, which could help her with the task in your stead.
The one we met upstairs, but she was under your influence.
Indeed. Since her thoughts were processed using the crystals of my body, I could send direct orders and control some of its actions. With the help of young Sada, we had a functioning time machine, and a robot I could use to communicate with humans. Everything was going well. Until...
Me?
I thought the powerful ogre was long gone from this world. Yet centuries later, you suddenly reappeared once again, seeking the aid of Turo. I managed to stop you in your tracks, but then you appeared a third time, and with even more powers than before. Not only that, but I heard them. The rumbles of Sola and the others, all the way down to Cosmos. Every Terapagos in existence was shaking in fear of you. Even Terra, who had not spoken in millennia, uttered the words, "You are a paradox. That I cannot permit."
Now that you mention it, those words do sound kind of familiar, but I think I heard them when I was first entering this world, long before any of that stuff happened.
Upon hearing their words, I knew I had to stop you, for I alone had the power to do so, and thus I used up a large reserve of my remaining powers to strike you with the ruinous curses that the old king had sealed within my shell. All of humanity had barely managed to subdue them in the past. Surely one Pokemon, no matter how powerful, would fail to overcome all four at once.
And that's why I was stuck here.
I did not expect you to find this place so soon after your arrival, but thankfully I had two reliable weapons at my disposal, AI Sada and the Time Machine. I did not know if it would work, but I had to try something, and so I tried to lock you in a time loop, for if the curses failed, I had no other way of stopping you.
Except it caused the Butterfree effect, which led me all the way back here.
That was not something I had accounted for. It seems like you were powerful enough to defy the corrosion of the curses, to defy time itself. Your existence is beyond all rhyme or reason. You are a paradox. That I could not permit.
Sounds to me like you let fear get the better of you, and that led to self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's why you gotta look on the bright side.
Whatever do you mean?
The thing about people is that we act based on our expectations.
And it seems like you do too, Terapagos.
But I am not like you, humans.
Then I guess it applies to all life.
You think things will go well, you act like the things will go well, and then more often than not, they do.
Even if reality gets kind of grim, you can't let your expectations fall too low.
Otherwise, you'll become quite miserable.
Ain't that right, Grumpy Grounds?
What are you trying to say?
When I first came into this world, you assumed I was a threat, and you treated me like a threat, which eventually did make me become an actual threat. Had you not placed all those curses on me, had you not sent me into a time loop, I never would have been there for the battle against Glaciado. I never would have met the curses or Turo or Grusha, all of which helped me get to this very spot. It is thanks to your actions that I managed to come here and win.
That is why you are the ultimate paradox.
Well now, it seems we're all on the same page here. It was all one big misunderstanding, so we don't have to fight anymore, right?
Even if I had enough life force to keep going, I would not continue this pointless charade.
Thank goodness. I really don't like having to fight either.
This isn't over, you two. My Sada is still.
Huh? That voice. Turo?
Sada? You recognize me?
What sort of silly question is that? Of course I recognize you.
But you haven't spoken my name ever since you lost your mind 10 years ago.
Oh, Turo. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Sada. You're back now, right?
But you're the one who left, Turo.
But how? Terapagos said he couldn't undo the mind control.
Did you forget already? I'm the one who beat up Petulant in the past, and that was because its mind control couldn't do anything against my curses. Any one of them could instantly fend it off.
You mean I could have cured her all along?
Maybe, but then you would have been in danger too. It had to be one of my other selves, giving just a tiny morsel of a curse they had left. That was the only way to get the best outcome.
Then you have my eternal gratitude. Oh, Sada, welcome back.
Yeah. Now promise you won't ever leave me again. Do you know how lonely it was down here without you? I had to build a robot just to keep me company. In fact, I don't think I can forgive you for that.
I didn't know you could hold such a grudge. Oh, I see now.
I am glad to see that my mistake was not permanent.
What's wrong, Terapagos? You don't sound too well.
Like I said, my life force is running out, and I may have used up my remaining reserves trying to fend you off. Oh, what a fool I am.
But that means...
Paradox. I know I've done nothing to earn your kindness, but may I make one last request?
Sure. What is it?
All I've done to protect my little gem, the tiny Terapagos hidden in this room. But once my life is over, he will be yet again left all alone. Down here in this chasm.
Oh, I wouldn't mind taking care of him.
Thank you for your offer, descendant of Heath. However, you and the other humans are far too weak and short-lived to take on this task.
I think I know where this is going.
Then would you be so kind as to take him with you on your journeys? He is a rather shy Terapagos and will likely stay in this crystal form, but he can still observe the world, and I believe that may be better for him than to remain locked up here in this crystal cage I once called paradise.
You mean this little rock? Kinda reminds me of the Ilex charm I got from Clara.
It seems Gem approves of this proposal.
Yeah, but what's in it for me?
I suppose Gem could share some of his powers with you. It could work like some of the blessings you've obtained from the other mythicals.
I was just kidding about that. But great. A nice little bonus, I guess.
So, you will accept?
Well, he's just a little guy, and I know what it feels like to be all lost and alone, thanks to a certain someone. Anyways, yes, I accept. I'll take Gem with me.
Wonderful. I suppose I was wrong about you all along. For I never expected the paradox I've feared to bring me such joy in my final moments.
May you rest in peace, Paldea. Way to ruin the moment.
Sorry, I wanted to take care of this before anything else happens.
The last fragments of your soul.
That's right, now I'm finally complete again.
Whoa! What's that thing?
Huh, that's the portal.
The portal?
Oh, right, did I forget to mention that I came here from another world just to see how strong the gym leaders are? Now that my mission is done and my soul is complete, I have to head back home.
But I was hoping we could make some more videos together.
And I was hoping you'd come hang out in the mountains.
Unfortunately, I cannot stay, but maybe Iono could go to the mountains and make some videos with you, Grusha.
Oh, guess I'd be down for that.
Yay, me too! The friendos are gonna love it.
I was hoping to do more research on our little gem here, but I guess I'll have to settle for the other Terapagos like Terra. I do wonder if there's even smaller ones too.
Indeed. Perhaps Pokerus is related to Terapagos too. When I studied it in Hoenn, I did find some resemblance between its effect on Pokemon and that of terrestrialization, at least under a microscope.
Absolute genius! You're quite the lucky one, Sada.
Yeah. Just don't get any ideas about my Turo.
Anyways, I must give you my thanks once more. Vasko, if it weren't for your help, I never would have gotten her back.
No problem, Turo. Besides, you've helped me out a lot too. You just don't remember it since it was in a different timeline. So, consider this even.
You never cease to amaze.
Anyways, it looks like that's gonna be it for me. I'll always treasure the memories we've made together. Doviždane, skapi priateli.
So you went all around the world trying to find a way to save me?
And I hated every bit of it, because you weren't by my side. No one was.
Well, you are kind of grumpy.
Grumpy Gramps! Grumpy Gramps!
Gramps. I don't think Arvin's old enough for that to happen.
Who's Arvin?
Rose did not warn us about these extra factors. We need to note them down for the future. In any case, glad to have you back.
Glad to be back. Also, I'm not too sure about doing this again in the future.
I don't blame you. Unfortunately, word of the project got out since we were at our wits' end trying to get you back, and we had to reach out to various scientists for some help. So you might get some requests from other regions, but you can turn them down.
Oh boy, this never ends, does it?
I know, right? Speaking of which, there's some letters for you.
Oh no,